Every company loves a good strategy. The offsites, the decks, the vision slides. Everything looks flawless on a paper. But the real test actually begins on a Monday morning. That is when the gaps show up. Plans look brilliant in a boardroom, but something breaks between the top floor and the shop floor. That something or someone is the middle manager. They are the bridge between strategy and execution, between what the leaders say and what teams actually do. Our today's guest has spent over 15 years helping managers, entrepreneurs, and organizations scale up through SEAL's registered consulting model BETT. Build, execute, transform, and transfer. He has coached more than 800 entrepreneurs and owners, more than 25,000 middle managers, and helped over 200 family run and owner managed businesses in India and beyond. Welcome, Aseem, to our podcast today.
Oh, thank you very much. I've been looking forward to get this opportunity. I've been watching your podcast and they're so inspiring.
Thank you so much. And you've set the right context, which is why I would like to start with the most uncomfortable truth. Every leader believes that they have nailed the strategy, but the but as you've always said, that it is not the plan, but actually the handover which creates the failure. So, what is the real reason why strategy to execution shows a gap?
See, it has been a debate since long that what fails, strategy or execution. And Dr. Ramcharan has said it beautifully. 70% strategy fails because of poor execution. Now think about that. Who does the execution? Is it leaders? Is it the people sitting in the board? Is it the consultants who help in strategy? Or is it the middle managers and the people who are in the front who are engaged in execution?
Middle managers and people in the front.
Yeah. And generally, I have seen in my vast experience that they are the most neglected people. Organizations spend a lot of money for the training of the senior leaders, management, and of course on frontline also. We being a consulting and training organization, we get a lot of time. People say, okay, train our frontline people who are dealing with clients, which is very important. They have to have product knowledge, they have to have everything. And then they call us and say, okay, we want to have coaching for our senior management, CXOs needs training and all. But generally that three layers in the middle, they get neglected. And they are the engine for the execution, which takes strategy from the leadership team and execute it through their team. And most people report to them.
So, are you saying that middle managers should actually be on the table where this strategy or the plan is being made?
If not on the table, at least they should be part of, they should understand the whole concept. They should know the why of it. Generally, what happens when the strategy is made, the middle managers are given the download that they're given the download. Okay, we have to execute this strategy, and that's most of execution part. That's not of what and how. We don't talk about why, which is very important for any person. We are dealing with professional adults. They need to know why. The conviction is stronger then. So even if they cannot be part of the strategy making, but at least that communication has to be very strong so that they get why part of it and they also then build how and what. You've spoken about a very, very important term, communication. Yeah. Every company does these offsites and they do these large events, town halls. They communicate, this is what the company is moving towards, and this is what they expect to be done. This is the why behind it. But still, there are gaps on the next Monday morning that comes up. So think over it. Do they communicate or they tell? There's a very big difference between communication and telling. Interesting. So generally we tell what we expect from you, and generally we tell how it is to be done. Let's do like this. That's the difference. Telling doesn't work. And communication is a two-way process. While I'm communicating, it is very important that the people who are going to execute my strategy, are they getting conviction in that or not? Are they on the same page or not? When a large group is there and you're communicating, suppose I say, Pakdo mat jane do. Now imagine, half people will think, Pakdo mat jane do, and half of the people will think, Pakdo mat jane do. Right. And the gap starts from there. So the communication is very, very important that what I'm trying to tell my team, have they understood or not? So that's very, very important. So you rightly said communication is important, telling is not important. When you tell, it goes away. And there's a confusion among them.
One time communication is enough.
No, never enough. It has to be repeatedly done. It has to be repeatedly checked actually. Very interesting learning I had when I was I think eighth or ninth. If anybody who has a Fauji in their family, they can understand that whenever a Fauji is giving instruction, how they give instruction. I was in a summer vacation to my Mamaji's place. He was colonel in army in Hyderabad, and his team member, maybe a major or somebody, came and he started explaining him something. So this file is very important. You have to take this file there. You have to meet this guy on the second floor, in the second room. You have to meet this person, not this person. All that stuff he explained to that guy, and then he asked them, "What you have understood?" Now this major started repeating. I have to go to that building, I have to go to second floor, I have to go to that room, I have to give that person, I have to take a signed copy and bring that signed copy to you. Ditto. Ditto. And there was a gap. He said, no, 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 not the second person. On the second floor, second room. And they clarified. And when they left, I asked my uncle, मैंने कहा, uncle, he's a major. He's also a Fauji, पढ़ा लिखा आदमी है. तो why this? कहते हैं, in our line, a small mistake can be a very big thing. Actually, it's a fact. A small mistake can be very big thing in organizations also. So as a leader, it is very important for me to understand that whatever I communicated has been understood ditto by my team members or not. So are we on the same asking questions? Are we on the same page or not? Is very important.
Very interesting. When you ask questions, often these managers, get irritated or feel they are being micromanaged.
Very interesting. Now, I generally say in my coaching and when I talk to clients, I say, reasons don't persuade, questions do. And you just said, while we ask questions, manager get irritated. Don't you think it should be the other way around? Managers should ask questions to us. We should create a culture for them so that they can clarify. They feel confident that they can clarify with you. When we give instructions to them or we set our expectations with them, do we create that environment that they can come back and ask questions of clarification? If they start asking, in fact, we get irritated that why they are not understanding. I want to reverse this. It should be reversed. We should not be asking questions to managers. Managers should be asking questions to us. You know why? Right. We created a strategy. Right. And I'm giving it to you. Devanshi, go and execute it. Right? Right. Now, who should ask questions? How to execute? What to do? What is my expectation? You or me? I should because I have already I have to. You have to execute. So we don't give that environment and culture to our middle managers. And then we feel they have not understood. How they wouldn't? They want to be successful. They want to do very well. We just convey this to be done by this time, how we can do it. And then task to task, you don't have that environment to open environment for people to ask question. Let them ask question. The biggest mistake leaders do, why there is a culture of not trying or culture of lack of initiative or ownership is very simple. You know, we take failures very bad. As a leader, if my team members are failing, I take it very bad. We should not, because failures teaches us. See, I generally quote this example about uh, empowering and developing middle managers. Remember while in the childhood we were learning cycling, our dad was or mom was, generally dad teaches us cycling, right? How does it happen? He holds the career and runs with us so that we don't fall. And as soon as he get confident that we can cycle now, he just leave the career, but he keeps running with us. And then when he's more confident, he just stops there and we just cycle, right? And we fall also. Right. And he said, "Hey, you have already done it. Get up, but come back now." And just imagine that's how we hold, we mentor, we give confidence, we give trust that you have done it. I'm already there if you falter. And then initially, when the kid learns cycling, we don't let them go out in the market and do cycling. We want them to do cycling under supervision. Either father is there, mother is there, or maid is there. In a park, they are doing cycling. But one day the confidence becomes such that now this guy is cycling in the market and we are sitting at home. That's complete empowerment. We trust him now. Well, this is always a journey. If as a leader, I don't pass through this journey, I don't build that trust, I don't train them to do better, I don't allow them to fail. Allowing them to fail is very, very important because once they fail, they learn out of it and they slowly start becoming confident. And they know that if I fail, my boss is not going to scold me, or my boss is not going to, tear me apart. It's a part of process. So that one trait is very important, which is giving independence to trying and failing. And then open culture, people will ask questions. So, so there are two segment of people. You're absolutely right. One is that they get insecure. They could get insecure. Though my experience in last few years, it has really gone down because of the exposure and everything. Most of the leaders, they don't get insecure now when their managers start doing good. Most, right? There's still some percentage. And if I talk about the other part, which you said that if I train my manager, they'll take time, and it's better to do myself. But then you can only do this much. If you have to really scale up things, you have to have capable people under you who can multiply, who can do 2x, 3x, 4x. And that's the difference between any organization which is growing very fast, doing very well, and which is not growing. Because there it's a limitation. You don't have capable managers. And in one organization, there are capable managers who are trained, who are delegated, who are empowered, and most importantly, they are trusted. If you trust your managers, they'll do wonders for you.
But this is a double-edged sword. When you say that trusting your managers, you've trusted them, they've failed, and that kind of brings you back to a point where you feel, if you trust them again, it might again fail. And I think I say that for a lot of leaders because this internal, somewhere this hitch makes them not trust them again, which again brings a cycle of loop of non-training, non-delegation, non-empowerment, and then obviously
So tell me one thing, Devanshi. If your manager is doing well, whose job become easier?
the leaders.
The leader's job become easier. So if I'm a leader, and I understand what you're saying, that vicious cycle when they fail and projects get delayed, but then I say it's my job as a leader to make my manager successful. Find out what are the gaps and then fill those gaps by training, by coaching, by on-job training, by mentoring.
But in this high-paced environment where deadlines are standing on your, head, and every moment counts, and every failure could result in millions of dollars of losses, how do you still go out there and spare time for training and then delegation?
So that's why it's a process. You train, you delegate, and you empower. So when you delegate, the accountability stays with I'm delegating work, but the accountability stays with me, which means that it goes right or wrong. It's my accountability. It means they are helping me. I'm delegating some part of the work so that we can do it faster and they can learn out of it. When I empower, then accountability goes to them. So mostly managers sometimes do this mistake that they don't train their people, they don't delegate initially, and they directly empower them. Then that stress is more. But if you follow this journey of developing imagine if going back to the cycle example, if just by after initial some trials, you let your child go out in the roads and let him drive the cycle, what will happen?
You'll fall, you'll scratch his
Fall,
knee, and then
or
next time
maybe a
you
big
want.
accident can happen, and next time you'll fear, he'll fear. So because once you do the journey, that's very important. And it's a known fact, Divanshi, that people who sharpen the saw, they always do better. So thinking that sharpening the saw is going to take time is not the right thinking. If we invest in developing our middle managers, they will always perform better in an overall slab. I have seen this work with many organizations, and organizations which are focused on middle managers, they have really done very, very well.
When we talk about middle managers translating that strategy to the frontline teams, how can middle managers become more better in doing that so that ultimately the trust that their leader has placed in them ultimately transfers to the team?
See, change always starts from top. Similarly, trust has to start going down from the top. If as a leader, I'm trusting my middle managers, then middle managers will definitely start trusting their team members. So that's one thing which is very, very important. Secondly, I think once middle managers on the same page on strategy, they are clear about why they are trusted. They will exhibit that while they are dealing with their team members, and automatically their communication changes. Their communication would not be like that. कि बॉस ने कहा ये करना है. Their communication will be, guys, let's do it. I believe in it. The moment I tell to my frontline guys or my people who are executing on the ground that as a leader, I trust in it, I believe in it, let's go and do it, it will be very different. Then, saying boss wants this, then I'm not showing that conviction in that. So I feel it flows from the top. The culture you build, the way you communicate, the way you create why, the way you build that trust.
So, a little while ago, you mentioned about transferring of accountability and ownership on your manager's shoulder, right? How effectively can a leader transfer this ownership, telling them that now this is your ground and you need to run with it? Because what happens is when you give that responsibility, a manager might feel bogged down that he's responsible for results, and then might not be out there to achieve it.
So very important, very good question, Devanshi, and very important that before you give accountability to anybody, that person has to be ready. Ready three ways. One, competency.
Okay.
He should be ready on his competency to deliver that. And developing his competency is the part of the leader and the management. If you have invested enough for them to develop the competency required to exhibit a job, is number one critical. Number two, again, I will say trust. I trust you. Right? Once these two things takes place, then automatically that manager will be willing to take the accountability, not see as a burden, because he's ready for it now. What happens many times that because it has become a big talk point everywhere that ownership, accountability, managers don't take ownership and accountability, and as a leader we try to give them faster even before they are ready, and they tend to fail, and then the whole pressure comes back on us. Either we get down to the job and start doing ourselves, right, or we put blame on them, and when we put blame on them and then next time we fear giving them accountability and responsibility. So that's a cycle, and it's very important thing we need to learn. See, uh, you know, two words, accountability and responsibility, we very often use, right? But there's a difference in that, and the difference is very simple. See, responsibility is given and accountability is taken,
Very, very interesting. Could
right?
you?
So suppose I say, Divanshi, I want you to complete this task so and so time. And I'm giving you responsibility. But have you made that your accountability or not? The result will depend on that. I can give you responsibility, but you have to take it as an accountability. The monkey is on my shoulder. I'm trying to give that monkey to you. If you don't take that monkey on your shoulder, the monkey will be somewhere here, and the work will never happen. So the mistake what we do as a leaders, when we give responsibility to our team member, we miss out three things. One, we don't understand that the communication has been right. What I want has that been understood properly or not? Number one. Number two, this guy has resources and competency to do that task. Number three, has this guy taken it as his accountability or not? Or is just I have given the responsibility? So remember, responsibility is given and accountability is taken. That's very, very important.
Very, 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 very important to look at these 3 points, because it does not, any strategy does not end with just communication, but also looking at whether that communication has been understood, as you said. Second, whether the manager has the right competency and the resources to execute it. And when you have communicated, it matters whether that accountability has been taken or responsibility has been given. The monkey on the shoulder has to be on the manager's shoulder. Then only you can expect the right results from him.
Absolutely.
In your program, if an organization moves ahead with the program, it would be a one-time training, correct? And in that one-time training, it is not important that after 6 months or 1 year it will follow the same suit.
No, it actually, change is a process, not an event. So never think that training is an event. We train people and change will happen. It never happens. In our organization, all interventions, we request our clients for minimum 6 months. And also, we have to be very clear what we are training to which person. Because see, if you see managers of three categories, there is manager of people who are frontline manager or first time managers who are largely got promoted. They're doing good work. Now they are manager, they're handling 4, 5 people. Then on top of that, there are manager of managers who have four, five managers under them, and then there are people under them, and then manager of business. Now, all these three categories are managers, they are into execution, but the training needs are different. So many times we have seen that organization try to give them same learning because the culture should be same. Okay, you can create the framework same, but the learning has to be different. The frontline manager learning is very different. Manager of manager learning is very different, and manager of business is very different. So MOM, MOP, MOM, these three layers should be clearly number one. Number two, the training has to be long term because once you start training people and you want to change their behavior, you want to give them some tools, they need to practice them. When they practice, they fail or they succeed, and then they come back, and then you again retrain them. Generally, my experience says if you train a manager for 5 to 6 months, you can clearly start seeing visible results in that. Your retention becomes better, performance becomes better, the overall happiness quotient of the organization becomes better because managers are dealing with people ultimately. So it should be long-term training intervention. It should be specified to them as per their competency requirement, as per what they are going to deliver actually. Very, very important. We almost trained their 600 middle managers
Wow.
pan India for 6 to 7 months. And the results were beautiful, results were inspiring because manager got to know what they need to do, how they're going to inspire their team members, and then the whole culture shift take place. A lot of the organization, I've been very fortunate to work with uh, Larsen and Toubro Limited. And then later on, I moved to Max Neocli, which is Axis Max now. In Larsen and Toubro Limited, they emphasize so much on training. When I got promoted as first time manager, it used to be called area manager. So I was given a team of 5 people. Can you believe we went to Bombay? All of us who were promoted, we went to Bombay for 21 days training as a manager. We knew the product, we knew the process. They were training us how you can become an inspiring manager, how you're going to handle your team. It does not end there. Every quarter we used to be trained, retrained again. There was a refresher, there was a mentor given to us, right? And then I moved to next level where I became manager of business or there was a different training. When I became manager of business, I was given a mentor who was mentoring me for full year that how I'm going to handle the entire business and the people below me. So not training, mentoring, hand holding all the time. And Max Life was known for developing people. When I joined Max Life, there was they call it management orientation school. You join as a manager and there are 21-day school. And then there's a periodic training happening. And every time you grow in your organization, there's a structured training program. So these two organizations really influenced me a lot to create structured training programs, which should run for 6 to 9 months and they should impact the business. For any training, they should impact the business. And business will be impacted only if people are becoming more competent, they are more motivated, they are more capable. So that's very, very critical.
Let's zoom in on the career of a middle manager. Some of these have been very good individual performance, and then one day they are promoted and they're expected to handle a number of people under them. Uh, you know, uh, and then they fail. What do you think actually, should be done during this journey to make them successful?
Very interesting question. And if you look at it, the problem starts from there. You know, somebody is doing very well as an individual contributor, and to reward him, we promote him. And generally, that promotion criteria is his performance, not his capability or competency to lead team. No problem. It's fair. He has performed. You want to make him grow, but now you need to invest him. Invest in him. You have to make sure that you train him how to lead a team because the competency required to perform as an individual contributor is very different than when you are handling a team. And if this guy is a good performer, generally gets frustrated fast because his team is not able to do things that fast, right? So it is very, very important that if we promote a guy to a leadership position, team leader or a manager position, we should invest and we should give him knowledge and skill to perform better as a manager because his role changes now. Ali is performing now. What he has to do? He has to lead from the front. People are looking at him. Number two, he has to do expectation setting and goal setting. Have we trained him how to set expectation and goal with my team member? He has to review and give feedback for constant improvement. Have we trained him how to review, how to give feedback? And the last and the most important, he has to mentor and train his team members so that they can start doing better day by day. Now, this is a very, very big role for a manager. We expect that. एंड वी गो बैक टू यार तुम्हें प्रमोट कर दिया क्या हो रहा है तुम इतना अच्छा काम कर रहे थे और तुम परफॉर्म नहीं कर रहे हो अरे बाबा मैं अच्छा परफॉर्म कर रहा था पर आपने मुझे एज ए मैनेजर तो ट्रेन किया ही नहीं है अभी और आपने मुझे छूट दिया कि टाइम के साथ मैं सीख जाऊंगा तो जब मैं टाइम के साथ सीख जाऊंगा टाइम के साथ परफॉर्म भी कर दूंगा वी शुड फोकस ऑन दैट मैनेजर वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट स्ट्रक्चर ट्रेनिंग प्रोग्राम first time manager, frontline manager. There are various programs available, you know. My only request to all leader, identify a right program, run it for them and run it for a longer period. There's no need to give them product training, no need to give them process training. They have already excelled in that, you know. Give them training how to be a good manager.
I'm motivated now to go back and train my managers first,
Very important.
definitely, because if we are to scale, it's very, very clear to me from this conversation. If we are to scale, the training of managers is the key point of breakage of strategy to execution. And if trained well, your organization can scale well. So thank you for walking us through this. Help us understand what are some of the key critical steps that CXOs need to take, when they're looking at training of their managers.
Well, I think we covered a lot, and if we have to summarize that, it's very, very important that when we are leading a team of managers under us, we need to know what are the competencies required to do that particular role. Okay, because managers could be in sales, managers could be in operations, managers could be in quality. So, what are this is one functional competency which is required. And second is their managerial competency. Now, managerial competency will be same for all the functions, but different at different level. The competency for frontline manager would be different. The competency for middle manager would be different, and competency for business manager would be different. We should make sure we understand those competencies. We should make sure they are clear about their accountability and what is expected out of them. And there has to be a constant dialogue. And I'm using dialogue because it's a two-way process, right? There has to be a constant dialogue between manager and the leader or manager and his team member so that there is no communication gap. We have understood what is expected. I'm going to do it. These four fundamentals are very important, Devanshi, for any manager, for any leader also, actually, you know. The first is that as a leader or as a manager, I have to live the basic principle of leadership. And these basic principles are very simple. One is uh, critical is communicate with accountability. Communicate with accountability means that whatever I'm saying, it is coming. I'm accountable for saying. Most of the time, managers say, "Boss ने ऐसा कहा है, you know, ये करना पड़ेगा नहीं तो boss ये करेगा." Then my team members are not seeing me as a manager or a leader. They are seeing me as a postman. I'm just giving what boss said to you. I
Very
have to communicate with accountability. Number one. Number two, take initiative to make things better. You are a manager now. You are a leader. It is very important for you to take initiatives because if you take initiative, there's a culture of initiative which is built. Initiative is very simple. It's a individual's volunteer willingness to do something without saying. Third is maintain constructive relationship because constructive relationship are very important because as a manager, you're not only dealing with your team member, you're not only dealing with your superiors, you're also dealing with your peer group. So the constructive relationship are very, very important. So and last, you know, when you take initiative, you always lead from the front, right? So very, very important that you lead from the front in everything. You have to show the way. You have to develop your team members. So these are four basic fundamentals which are very critical. Second is the competency to set the expectations and goals. We don't do that as a manager. Very critical that I should have competency how I do set the expectation. And setting the expectation is not telling. Setting the expectation is a two-way process where we are having dialogue. What I expect, what you can do, what you need to do that, what are your challenges you are facing. Third is once we have set the expectations, we are on the same page. How do I review that task? Now, in review, it's very important, and that's one of the fundamental principle. Out of four principle, I told you three. The fourth principle is focus on the issue, not on the person. You know, while we are reviewing, we focus on the person, and person become defensive, and they start giving explanations. Never focus on the person. Focus on the issue. Then you're in the same team because I'm focusing on the issue. This has not been done right way. Now the focus is on that issue with the task. So you both can now, as a team, look at that issue. So while you're doing review and feedback, you have to focus on the issues. It has to be a very constructive conversation. And last competency is, how do I create more managers like me? I was a performer, that's why I'm sitting here. How do I train and develop my people so that they can also become performer? Once they start performing, my job becomes easier and I can look at growing further. I don't struggle with my team. I don't get down to do their work. Most of the organizations, barring few I have seen, we have worked, or the challenge which they are facing is that every leader or manager is doing the job of their next level, because the next level is not doing their job. So the manager of business is doing the job of manager. The manager of manager is doing the job of manager of people, and manager of people end up doing the job of frontline executives. That needs to be changed if you really want to grow and scale up in the organization. And that could be only done with a structured training programs, structured competency building, building the trust in them, communicating properly. They should be part of, they should be part of, if not strategy making, but at least understanding the strategy, why we are doing it is critical.
A lot of these companies are training and investing a lot in their frontline workers in the hope of increasing the productivity. Yet the needle of productivity does not move.
Very interesting. I'll tell you a real life example of this. Mr. Munish Sharda, he is now CEO and Managing Director with Axis Bank. A few years back, he was CEO of Future General. It's a life insurance organization. And we met and he shared with me that we are investing a lot in frontline people training. Still, our productivity is not improving. Attrition is still happening. How do we increase the overall productivity of the organization? And while we are discussing, the focus shifted on middle managers. And he's an inspiring and insightful leader. And he said, it means we need to invest large in our middle managers. Then for 8 months, we trained their 600 middle managers pan India.
Wow.
What is the result of that? Because when these managers learn that how we handle our team members better, it resulted in not only into more productivity, it also resulted into better retention of these people, which again added to the productivity. So I think the focus the frontline guys need to be trained on how to deal with customers. If you're a sales organization, how to generate leads, how to sell your product knowledge. But how these people are going to work on day to day, how they are motivated, how they are trained, is the capability and competency of the middle managers. So to increase productivity, I always say you need to focus more on middle managers than frontline managers.
Interesting. When we speak to a lot of people, people say that we're not getting the right jobs, and companies end up saying we're not getting the right people.
Yeah.
There's this high attrition that's going about. Is it actually about money?
Yeah, very interesting. And what you said is a lot of people. When I talk to them, they say I'm not getting the right job. The right kind of job is not available in the market, and organizations say we are not getting the right people. So it's very funny at times that both are looking for the same thing and still it's not happening. But the interesting point what you said is attrition due to money. Generally we think that way. And whenever a person leaves an organization, the common answer in HR is better opportunity in terms of position or in terms of money. But there are a lot of surveys being done. Gallup has done very interesting survey, and the findings say the people leave because of money is at point number 3.
Then what is the point number 1 and 2?
Yeah, interesting. So the point number 1, people leave their immediate managers.
Very interesting.
So I leave my organization because my immediate manager is toxic, or my immediate manager I don't see value in him. I don't see that he can add any value to me. I'm not learning from him. He's not able to drive me, right? Reason number 1 is immediate manager, and reason number 2 is lack of opportunity for learning and growth. Reason number 3 is money. So which means the first 2 reasons are in our hand. If we invest in training our middle managers, they'll be able to get better productivity, motivated team members, and then everything will happen, and retention will take place, and learning and growth opportunity. So it's very, very important. People are the prime movers. We have to invest in people, and people at middle level are that invisible link between strategy to execution. It is very critical that these people are on board with the strategy, number one, and number two, they are trained how they are going to execute that. And then, this attrition will definitely be taken care of.
Very, very important. Speaking in the listening is something that as leaders we often forget because we are busy in thinking of what we are speaking. It's very, very important to understand where the listener is, what step he is at, where his understanding is, what is he looking at as an answer, what is his expectation, and then slowly closing the gap between where is he and where you want him to go towards. It's very, 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 very key critical aspect. So Aseem, from all your experience of training so many entrepreneurs and leaders, if you could share one important aspect of what a leader should concentrate on while developing people.
See, being a Gallup certified coach, and we follow Gallup philosophy a lot. Gallup says results are produced by the strengths, right? And strengths are basically talents. When you invest in talents, they become strength. Each and every person is talent, right? You need to convert them into strength. And there's an investment, and that investment is training. It takes time. It takes time. So once you start developing people and focusing on their strengths and train them on their strengths and make sure while producing results they are using their strengths, the results are always more than expected. So as leaders, as organizations, we must focus on people, develop their competencies. We should know what are their strengths and how we make them stronger. And we should look at the roles where they are able to use their strength in a better way. And the results are always more than expected, as I just said, So investment in people is the best investment you can do because they are important capital of your business. Money is capital. We take care of money. We have CFOs, we have consultants, we have so many people who take care of money. Similarly, if money is your capital, people is also your capital, which is going to use that money, which is going to use the processes you have made, which is going to use the machines which are. So for me, for any organization to be successful, the differentiator is its people. People are the prime movers.
People are the prime movers. Very, very true. Thank you, Aseem, for reminding us today that the most powerful, actually the real power lies not in a well-curated strategy, but actually identifying and investing in those who are executing that strategy.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. My pleasure. It was wonderful being here with you and talking about strategy, execution, and middle managers.